Salted caramel is one of my favorite flavors for truffles. There's nothing better than the combination of bitter and sweet provided from the caramel and dark chocolate. Blended in cream to make a silky smooth ganache, it makes the perfect combination. With only a few ingredients, these chocolates make the perfect present as well as decadent indulgence. I'm Chef Sally. Stick with me to the end of this video as I show you the tips and tricks in making these decadent and elegant salted caramel truffles. Now you're probably wondering, what's the difference between a truffle and a chocolate? Truffles are a type of chocolate, but chocolate is merely a flavor of truffles. So what are chocolate truffles? Truffles are a type of chocolate. They are confections that are made of ganache, a chocolate-based cream that has been coated in chocolate, cocoa powder, or even chopped nuts. To make the filling, use good quality dark chocolate. I like to use a serrated knife to chop the chocolate into fine pieces. In a pan, add glucose, followed with cold water and sugar. Give the pan a gentle stir to combine the sugar and water and cook over medium heat. As the water evaporates, the sugar will gradually caramelize. I like to cook the sugar to a rich dark caramel to develop the bittersweet notes of the caramel. Sugar begins to caramelize at 154 degrees Celsius, so keep your eye on the sugar as it is thermogenic in nature and can have a tendency to burn when you're not paying attention to it. Once the caramel is developed, turn off the heat and slowly add warmed cream. Warming the cream ahead of time will make it easier when blending into the caramelized sugar. Stir the caramel until the sugar has dissolved in the cream and add in the salt. Pour the hot caramel over the chopped chocolate and let it sit for a minute to allow the hot caramel to assist in melting the chocolate, then whisk until smooth. Loosely cover the caramel ganache and let it sit and crystallize at room temperature for 4 to 8 hours. If you like, you can also place it in the fridge until it sets. But I prefer the slower process of allowing it to crystallize at room temperature. During this time, the ganache will set into a luscious and creamy smooth consistency. This ganache is also perfect layered in your favorite cakes, piped onto cupcakes, or stir some into your hot milk or coffee. Fill the ganache in a piping bag with a plain piping tip. Gather the opening of the bag and twist it to make sure there are no air pockets. On a piece of parchment paper, pipe the ganache in straight, long lines. Use even pressure to the piping bag and twist the bag at the base on occasion to maintain good pressure. It may take a little bit of practice to pipe long, straight, perfect lines. Just start with your piping tip at the top of the tray and gradually move your arms back as you pipe, while maintaining even pressure while piping. Use a plastic scraper or bench scraper to push any leftover ganache towards the piping tip and press out any air from the bag. You'll be surprised by how much ganache is left in the piping bag. With the remaining filling, pipe some rounds of ganache through the piping bag. Press your thumb into the base of the piping tip, to get all of the lovely ganache out. You don't want to waste any of it because it's so good. Lightly cover the piped ganache again and allow the ganache to set for at least an hour or two. Once the ganache has set and formed a skin, trim the edge and slice into even segments. Use a hot chef knife for the job. You can use a torch to heat the blade of the knife, or dip the knife in hot water and then dry it with some paper towel. To prepare the chocolates for coating, sieve cocoa powder on a tray. Temper or crystallize good quality dark chocolate to coat the ganache. Avoid using baking chocolate or chocolate chips as it will not give you a fine coat. Plus, the taste just isn't the same. Check out my video here on how to temper chocolate. Dip the pieces of ganache into the prepared chocolate, and with a dipping fork, coat and lift the ganache out of the chocolate. With a fork, tap off the excess chocolate and place it into the cocoa powder for dusting. While the chocolate is still wet, give the ganache a little roll into the cocoa powder to cover the surface. Allow the truffles to set for a few minutes before lifting them and transferring the truffles into a container. To shape the round truffles, pick up the ganache in clean hands, using your thumbs as well as your index and middle fingers to lightly compress the ganache to form a loose cube. Next, give the ganache a quick roll in the palms of your hands. Having cold hands helps with this job. Use a round dipping fork to dip and coat the truffles in dark chocolate, and dust them in cocoa powder as well. Store these truffles in an airtight container. They will keep for a couple weeks in cool room temperature, or you can store them in the fridge. What are some of your favorite flavor combinations with chocolate? Do you like chocolate with strawberries? If you do, check out my video here. If you like tea flavored truffles, I have a hojicha tea truffle waiting for you right here. Thanks for watching. If you found value and were inspired with this video, give it a like and subscribe as it helps the channel. See you next time for another awesome video. Cheers.